Go.
Hello, and welcome back to Oasis Valley, the end of the Spiteful Sands arc. Uh, what turned out to be the longest arc so far of the three, compared to like the two or three that the last one took. Uh, the group finally managed to deal with the murderous rampage of the yokai known as Akasha, and in the process, through some rather bad, good, just we'll just call it luck for now, and managed to both seal the kasha and seem to reanimate and or resurrect the victim and invoker of the curse, Soda Sabura, the 23-year-old who had been drawn in by Micah Porter, or Damien Micah Porter, the doctor from Pluripotent, into making Epiphany along with his girlfriend, brother, and friend. But the bikers, of course, turned on them, invoking causing the near death, the man at near death to invoke the curse. And I'm just talking in circles, but through the efforts and very thorough study and research by the group managed to achieve this, capture the surviving bikers, the trio of Texas Ginger and the ringleader of Felix. And after turning them over to the police, you brought Soda to the diner for a while where he got cleaned up because he did look like the Walking Dead just from his clothing alone. So you helped him get cleaned up, fed him a bit, and before taking him home to a tearful and joyous reunion with his mother and family. And I didn't get a chance to finish re-listening to the episode last night because it got late, but I don't remember where we left off, but it's kind of loosey goosey. Um, Still the same day. It's after you've returned Soda to his family, Hanzo, and I think it was Carlos you went with him that time.
Yes.
Yes.
So you would be able to head back, and I'll just say that everyone is gathered at your diner. As sun sets, maybe an hour away, but right now, or it might even be closer. But Winifred is just passed out in someone's car, I think it was, as she'd been staying up through the days, like the last couple of days straight.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair.
So,
Um,
oh, what do y'all want to do? Carlos, if you wanted to, it'd be totally, probably wouldn't be the first time that you've closed the diner down for like private, parties or stuff, and you could totally do that if you wanted, you know, but or because it's a weekday, so it's not super busy, but you will have some customers that would come in and if you wanted to give the group privacy, but that's all up to you guys. This is more about this session is going to be more about what you all want to do and just kind of picking up some of there's a few loose threads or just some other things that you could do before the next arc starts. So, gonna turn it
yeah.
to you guys. What do you all want to do?
Hmm.
Uh, hmm.
Oh, and this is after Fred and some of the others, but mainly Fred, got some experimental
Yeah.
medical care from seemed to be experimental medical technology pilfered from when she left Pluripotent by Dr. Lucia. Basically, spray painting on or airbrushing on Fred some new skin.
Airbrush. Spray on skin.
Yeah, basically, it's like
Goo.
that sounds like something out of a Futurama joke.
Yeah. Sitting in a diner. Olivia's just gonna go. Hey, Fred, how you holding up?
Well, I think I'm all right. I don't feel any side effects. I haven't grown a lizard tail or any of the other things I was worried about, so I'm going to assume that nothing horrible will be a repercussion of this whatsoever and just enjoy my new skin.
And I should have clarified that if you did close the place down, but even if you did close it, often one of the booths would be the twins, and like the younger twins that from the Carla the diner or the waitress. Jesus,
Yes.
sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. So hearing Fred loudly proclaim that he's not a lizard, they look over like, wait, what? Like they seem suddenly curious, like, oh, that guy's turning into a lizard? What? Cool. They
I will have closed down. The
haven't
diner
really had a
so-
chance in game to do it, but because Fred actually did, save them and bring them, to safety. Every time they come in and Fred's there, they do go, "Hey, Mr. Fred," they wave.
He
Aw.
waves back. He likes kids.
Olivia smiled, and you're
Because
a
they're
good kid.
actually fairly close to the age of one of Fred's kids, the younger of Fred's two children.
Aw. Yeah, Olivia's like, no, you're good with kids, Fred.
Yeah, well, I try to be. Ah,
Yes. Thank you for accompanying me to the family.
yeah, no problem. It's oh, this one was pretty dicey, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
If we're ever doing a case with bikers again, remind me not to take my car.
Sitting back, preserved with bullet holes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's assuming they let you use the company car after this.
I mean, I'm like their best employee, so.
Yeah, you still brought it back with bullet holes.
And I'm their best employee, and like was basically on the clock for parts of that, so.
All the more reason I'll let you lend a fee.
She waves you off. Oh. What's the plan now, gang?
Frosty chocolate milkshakes? Like in that Tracy Ullman show?
Well, oh god, what's his name? The biker who helped us.
Itzel. Oh yeah, she would be there
No,
too.
not her. No, the stupid
Texas.
one.
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Now he got booked with the other two.
Yeah, I would like to talk to Texas one more time. He did, he did help us, even though it was like fucking, we had to twist his fucking arm, but
I mean,
I
he's
did
down at
tell him that.
Curse him.
Yeah, I did. I don't know that. I did tell him that I would help him get back on his feet. So, and I meant it.
If you want to go down to the prison and the jail and talk to him, I guess you're more than welcome to.
Eventually.
Actually, I will just add, Hanzo, that is one thing that we were going to do this session is, Hanzo, you do have an appointment to go talk with Detective Bentley.
Yep.
And you also have
An appointment.
previously got a
boss.
message from your boss who seemed a little miffed that you gave Dr. Porter over to the official authorities rather than in-house for a debriefing, as he put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just
You don't
trying.
have like a set like appointment for that one, but you did get the vibe from his tone of voice that he's like he's giving you a little bit of leeway because he understands you're in the middle of something, but
Yeah. Hanzo is not trying to dawdle, but he also is like, I'm trying to catch my breath before I get a tongue
Yeah,
lashing.
Hanzo's been running almost as, well, probably harder than anyone in the group, really.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, when he makes the groan. What's up, tall, corporate, and spooky?
Well, first of all, I'm
Itzel
tired.
snorts from a few seats over.
Yeah, so it's like, well, first of all, I'm tired.
You should get some rest.
Can't do that just yet. I have to. I have an appointment with Detective Bentley and an appointment
Hmm.
with my superior.
Well, when you head out for the detective one, I'll head out with you because like I said, I want to talk to Tex. Callie! Hi. It's okay. Yeah, when you go to talk to the detective, I'll head over with you. I want to talk to Tex, and I probably at least. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know that. I think I've talked to the detective before. Like in the first case, I think I've interacted with him. If not, she's a lifelong local, so
Yeah.
having friendly face around can't hurt.
Yeah.
I can't help you with
No.
your boss.
No.
You're not gonna like disappear, are you?
Hope not.
Oh, I'm sorry. You hope not.
He just
Carlos.
shrugs.
Carlos just looks completely nonchalant at that, like it's just the most normal thing he's ever heard in his life.
Look, Hanzo. You you know you might not realize it, but you've got a pretty large name you can throw around. Like, yeah, she's not a part of Pluripotent anymore, but her brothers are. Her family is. If they try and like,
And
Hmm?
I was actually going to say, Hanzo, you did meet her brother. And actually, you and Winifred both met her brother at the beginning of this arc.
Yay!
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
I
appreciate
didn't
if,
even ding when Callie showed
if
up.
they
Hi.
if
Oh.
if they threaten you and like you're worried, bring up the fact that you know her, and like, yeah, we are, Callie.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yeah, we started not long ago, actually.
yeah, we're still in the opening. Don't fucking take that shit. If you're look, we don't see we aren't this we and I, I don't want you to fucking disappear, Hanzo.
I don't either. For a second, he's like, Klutzman has a good point. I would like a milkshake.
Frosty chocolate milkshakes for everyone.
The Hugo kind of gives a little salute, and you hear the machine kick into gear in the back.
Oh, wow, they got him here. I thought we'd have to go to like a diner.
We're in a
This
diner.
is a diner.
Fred, Fred, how bad of a concussion
I'm
do you
still on
have?
some meds. I'm still on some meds.
I appreciate what you're trying to say, Olivia, but I also don't want to drag your boss into this.
I mean, you're not going to be dragging her in, but like, they know she works there. It's not a secret. Like, hey, I go missing. You're pissing off one of the founder's family members, or well, founders.
I've met the CEO.
Fuck. I didn't realize you went that high.
It wasn't a personal one-on-one meeting, if that's what you're thinking.
No, but that's still a lot to meet the CEO of fucking Pluripotent. And doesn't really diminish my my corporate spook thing that I've said before. I mean, like, you're you're clearly, like, for the most part on the up and up at this point. But like, you've met the CEO. That is still pretty big.
I made a choice, and I will accept the consequences of that choice. I will explain my reasoning.
What was this choice? What exactly are they pissed at you for?
Pluripotent would have preferred to debrief Micah before handing him over to the authorities.
Kill him. They'd like to kill him.
I doubt that.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Olivia telling Hanzo to kill his boss.
Yeah,
That's also where my mind went.
that's exactly where my mind went.
I was like, has Olivia
Kill
been
that
reading Spider-Punk
motherfucker.
comics?
Load maximum shame.
No, I doubt they would have killed him, but especially with the authorities already knowing Micah's involvement, having him disappear would be very, very suspect. But they would have probably preferred to, as I said, debrief him.
They were gonna take his underwear?
Yes,
Fred.
100%.
That gets another laugh from. She's like, Fred, you nearly made me take my blood. And she's drinking some new blood.
Ah, Fred. Your mind works in a wonderful way.
I have my moments.
She carefully pats you on the shoulder. Like, friendly arm pat.
Yeah.
Because she has really come to like Fred over this one.
Fred's a good guy. A mess of a human being, but a good guy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm
And
gonna finish this drink before heading over to the detectives. I'll drop you off there, have my meeting, and then head back to Pluripotent.
and then you hear the clink of the glass on the. I assume everyone's like kind of sitting at the diner bar kind of thing. And Carla actually comes up with the tray and she starts passing out shakes and she goes, "Well, hope you have time to finish this." And she passes out, shakes to everyone.
Oh yeah, she passed out.
I'll just say she took orders because Carlos, what kind of? I mean, unless I was just gonna say, unless you had like something you wanted to say specifically with the ice cream machine, it's just like standard flavors, probably.
It is standard flavors and not broken.
Yeah. So
Which
yeah,
is a miracle.
the choice of chocolate,
Side-eye-
vanilla,
side-eye
or strawberry.
corporation.
Carlos is having a vanilla milkshake.
Now I want one too. Dang it! And I'm the one who.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia got strawberry.
I got chocolate.
I also got chocolate.
Tommy.
Itzel got actually one of the draws of the diner. She got a blood chocolate shake where
Oh, hell
they
yeah.
blended some of the.
New blood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's new blood, 100%.
It's
Hey,
a miracle
so,
of modern science. We can make it not taste like shit.
Itzel.
Hmm.
Well, what are you gonna do now?
I mean, I guess what I normally do. And now this is me, the DM, realizing I never gave her a day job or night job.
You know, I'm sure the preserve could use. The preserve can always use more help if you're looking for something.
She goes, I mean, yeah, it's a nice setup you got there. Took a few walks around it while Texas was sleeping when I was taking walk, taking watch over him.
Like the view of the animals.
Oh yeah, and some of I could tell some of them are a lot more active at night because I could, smell and see them running around all excited.
Yeah, we got some more nocturnal stuff there.
And a were thylacine.
I think actually that's what she'd probably say. She goes, I mean, I just work in a warehouse, basically, driving machinery and moving stuff, lots of stuff. And she goes, it's a pluripotent warehouse. It's just shipping freight and stuff.
Olivia's staring at her strawberry shape so hard. I will find where that fucking poop come from.
I gave you an answer.
Wait, what?
Well, just to be safe, make sure to
Wait,
get to
where
the
what
bottom
came
of
from?
that.
The thylacine tooth.
Oh yeah.
In response to what she says, just to be safe, you should drain the glass to see if it's at the bottom.
Yeah, she laughs a little. You're very right, and she starts goes back to drinking the milkshake. Oh, should I get one of these blood ones and bring it out to Winifred? I know she's asleep, but like blood milkshake.
I mean, and Carlos looks down at a wristwatch that you're not sure he had 10 minutes ago. Just give her a couple of minutes. She'll be up looking for it.
Yeah, I'll say it's getting, pretty much sunset because, yeah, after everything, it would be later in the day. So yeah, we'll just say it's getting close to sunset. It's a little,
I was about to say, because if it's during the daytime, it's just like, yeah, don't bring the milkshake out into the fucking Arizona day.
Yeah, that doesn't work unless you have the AC in the car going when you get it into the car. Trust me, I have been the victim of a lot of melted milkshakes growing up here in Arizona.
Well,
So, okay, I don't. This is also kind of a California thing, but one thing of growing up in Phoenix is to the water store where they have the ice cream because they would always have the really good like these ice creams where instead of like a scoop it was almost like a ice cream pellet maker where they would just stab this gun type thing into the ice cream and it would pop out onto a ice cream cone in like a giant pellet shape and it was always so good.
Huh.
And
No,
it was the water ice and ice cream store because you could get your bags of ice or bring your water jugs to fill up. But yeah, so there's definitely like a couple of those around Redemption.
Wonderful.
Carlos,
Yes.
got good milkshakes.
Thank you. They're one of our prides and joy.
That shit was fucked, right?
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore.
Not the most fucked thing I've done, but I'm not going to go into that.
Oh my god, you're going to have to eventually now.
Nope.
I'm not gonna forget that.
Cool.
I mean, been around for a few centuries, but yeah, that was some fucked shit. Fucked up shit.
Yep.
This magic shit is still like still wrapping my head around it, but
You're thinking
that
too
was just
hard about it.
that was just a whole ass yokai, right? That's what it's called, Hanzo.
Whole
Yokai.
Yes.
Whole ass spiritual creature, yeah.
Yeah.
And you sealed him inside a dead guy who stood up and is now back to life. But
Yeah.
Just
I
like
mean-
Jesus.
just like Jesus. It's laugh.
Wait, Itzel.
Ah,
What's the oldest living vampire? You know?
Jesus.
uh,
No, he's something different.
No, no,
Pretty sure he's
Uh,
more of a zombie.
she goes, I mean, you start asking, you gotta understand, after a while, it's like, you hear humans going after a certain point. It's like, I lose track of the years, and you're only a couple decades old. It kind of blends together. So I'm not even sure how old I am. I mean, I'm sure if I start going back and thinking hard about it, like events, I might be able to narrow it down. But there are some vampires that claim to be, 500, maybe longer, but don't really believe them a lot. It's like, I mean, ever ask Winifred how old she is yet?
No, that's typically pretty rude thing to ask on.
Feels kind of improper.
Like it comes up like in conversation sometimes, but like you just go, hey, hey, you don't just go, hey, Winifred, how old are you?
I mean,
She
I've
very
been
quickly
here
glances around to
for.
see if she very quickly glances around to see if that's someone Winifred.
Look.
And this all goes. I've been in town for a few decades, and she's been here as long as long as I have, or at least I've recognized her.
I'm pretty sure Annie's before cowboy times, but after Gothic European times.
Yeah,
At least
just like I
that's my
had
best
that like,
guess.
God, could there be a vampire old enough to have seen shit like fucking Jesus?
Probably.
I mean, I'm sure if you started asking some of the ones back in Rome, they're all hoity-toity. I'm sure they would love to say they were. I've never been across the sea, but
If every
Let's-
vampire who said he was at the crucifixion actually was, it would have been like bloody Woodstock. I was actually at Woodstock. I fed on a flower person and spent the next few hours watching my hand move.
God.
So you,
One
you
of the
say
best lines in Buffy.
you say fucking
Yeah.
Jesus, and you hear it from the door. Who's fucking Jesus now?
Mary Magdalene, I believe. Either that or one of the apostles.
Oh no, they were totally gay.
Followed around by
Yeah.
12 dudes, that's saying something.
Yeah, he was into that stuff.
I got a blood chocolate shake here for you if you're ready.
Oh, crud.
I know that's
Why are we on the topic of fucking Jesus? And she's
quick side
still
note.
like moving with her eyes closed.
She's echolocating.
Quick side question
Repressed
for God.
trauma from being raised Christian.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about fucking Jesus.
Quick side question for God.
Huh.
Olivia's trans, although the only person we know for sure who knows that is Winifred, because Winifred was there when she was growing up. But like,
And
how much more like
okay,
open and accepted are like queer folk in this altered history?
I guess just because it's an alternate history that I can control, and
Yeah.
it while there is still prejudice, it's much more accepting than it was in the 90s. And actually, like I even decided early on that because of the medical advances of pluripotent, the AIDS crisis was actually lessened significantly than what actually happened.
Good.
So, and
And also,
like
Reagan's assassination attempt succeeded. I believe you made that canon.
yeah.
Yeah, that would explain would legitimately have helped.
That deranged pedophile did one good thing with his life.
Jeez.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was such
I-
a really
but-
good fall guy.
You know, I was just being like outwardly like gay last not last session. I gave a woman my phone number, and like that's pretty gay, and I didn't really think about. Oh, we're in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, just from a personal thing, I'm just gonna say I'm not really comfortable acting out homophobia, so it's
Yeah, that's fair.
intensely like I'm not gonna like say that this is getting a little uncomfortable,
mean-
but
It's not comfortable. You can move on.
I was just gonna say we live in an era of known vampires and bone computers. Protestant evangelicists have much more important things to be more mad about.
oh yeah, there was quite a religious fervor about when the superorganism was revealed. Like there are still evangelicals out there who say that the
Satan.
the superorganism is the mouth of hell. It is like they say it is a hell mouth.
Joke's on you. It's God.
I mean, but then again, well, they also should name the big open mouth, the main entrance into the superorganism. They did go ahead and name it the Catabasis Maw, so that didn't really help. That so it's the Catabasis is literally the Greek word for a journey into the underworld.
Fuck yeah.
Like
so
Orpheus
hey,
and Eurydice.
we had got on an interesting topic earlier, Annie, about how old vampires are, and could one be as old as the times of Jesus? But
Yeah.
the question also came up how old you are, and I'm at a point where, like, if you were going to kill me, you would have done it by now. So, how old are you, Annie?
She's got the straw in her mouth and she just kind of cracks one eye open and looks at you from the side and she goes, takes the straw out of her mouth. As old as it is,
shrugging.
as old as I need to be for it to be funny. And she puts the straw back in her mouth.
Carlos
That's a good laugh. She's like, I'm gonna have to steal that one.
Carlos nods and looks back to Olivia and is like, so before cowboy times, but after gothic times.
Olivia nods. Yeah, sounds
That
right.
depends on if gothic times are funny.
They're funny.
The only thing funny about
Situationally.
you being from gothic times is imagining you wearing anything that wasn't brightly rainbow colored.
God, I can imagine that.
I can make my own dye.
Lots of money to be made in dye making.
Back
I mean,
for you,
yeah, you
Emily.
I mean, there's nothing. I don't have to do anything. This is all you guys'.
Especially that purple shit. Everybody really liked that purple shit.
What purple stuff?
The purple dye. She's mumbling shit under her breath.
Oh,
She's wondering if anybody picks it up. She's not seriously from that long ago, but she's wondering if anybody's gonna buy it.
Olivia just chuckles.
Winifred's kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
but we enjoy that. There's a
Olivia's kind of an adrenaline junkie. It's fine.
Oh, we didn't realize.
Really?
Yes, let's suplex the Kasha. I mean, although I can't really like tease about that because I literally assigned that as a secret objective as a joke. Because like it was literally after one of the sessions because Nora kept making Olivia bring up wrestling. I just was like, idea, secret objective, suplex the Kasha.
I'm still waiting for my reward for the secret objective.
You lived.
I would have lived anyway.
But Carla, as you're all chatting, she'll come up and start asking if people want food, and her and Hugo will serve up food. She's kind of listening in, and she kind of knows that things are weird around you, Carlos, but now she's just thinking like, oh, you kind of see that look on her face. She's just like, oh, you guys are weirder than I even expected. Well, Hugo just seems nonplussed completely.
Carlos is almost 100% sure, though he has never admitted it out loud to any human being, that Hugo isn't human. Because it works. And if it works, you don't question it. But there is a moment where he'll pull Carla to the side just a little bit. He's like, we'll have a talk later about these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess I'll let you guys, give you guys a pass. I mean, Fred there saved my kids, so.
Yeah, Fred. To be fair, Fred's the most normal of us, which is saying something.
Yeah.
But
Is it though?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. She nods.
Like outwardly,
because
he's
he
the
is.
most normal of us.
What?
Are you implying that internally I'm some sort of energy being? Because that's ridiculous.
I mean, what is your brain if not the energy impulses running across your meat?
You'll see Carlos look at his milkshake for that brief second, wishing desperately it was a shot, because he's not ready for that conversation again. So he just goes back to drinking the milkshake.
Olivia grins around her straw.
So Tommy's here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
What kind of milkshake did you get?
I mean, it's just 3 chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry.
Yeah,
or
probably just vanilla.
all of those colors with blood. But
Yeah,
that's usually
vanilla.
for the vampire. Okay. Honestly, if I had a choice, that's what I'd get right now too.
Yeah.
I'd probably get vanilla. I don't like strawberry, but Olivia does.
I like strawberry when it's mixed with other flavors. Anyways, so yeah. Eventually, Hugo and Carla put out food for you all, and after a long, intense day like this, you're all probably very hungry.
Give me the chupacabra.
Yep.
Munch, munch, chew.
Munch,
Voila.
munch, chew, chew.
So,
I think I'm gonna take like a day or two after this, and then I'm gonna do another fucking poker tourney. It's time, any.
Wish you luck. I need at least a day. I'm gonna take that day and just work on fixing the car up, and I think that'll be enough break for me.
and Itzel kind of pipes up. She goes, "Oh, You doing car work? I can help out if you need.
Oh yeah.
And she goes, I used to have my own mechanic shop for a while before I became a maker, but
No shit.
kind of actually how I kind of got into it. But after the whole mishap with the running with the Hells Coyotes, not exactly my best choice, I'll admit. But and then after the jail time, it couldn't really go back, and no one really wanted to hire me as a night mechanic, so it's just had to take the job at Pluripotent. But I tune up my own bike and help other people out if they need it.
Are you at all familiar with fixing bullet holes?
And she laughs and she goes, "Would you believe it? That's actually how I met Ginger in the first place."
You laugh. I believe it.
Yeah, she brought in their van at the time and needed to get rid of some before questions were asked by people with authority.
What was that?
She goes, yeah, she brought their van in and needed the bullet holes removed before people with authority started asking questions.
Interesting.
Like I said, it wasn't my best time, choices of my life back then.
Hey, you've all done stuff. I killed a man, fun fact.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
As far as you know.
You didn't kill a man.
As far as you know.
You don't have what it takes to kill a man. You kept on telling everyone else to not kill men. I was going to sacrifice the one dude, but that was too much, apparently.
Yeah, because they were just fucking shitty bikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Un momento. Galley. Oh, okay.
Stop giving me money because he doesn't know what to write in cards. And he wanted to give me his...
So yeah.
And
I'll wake up.
it's a little, she kind of goes, well, I'll admit, I'm very satisfied that Felix is going to jail for all that shit because, boy howdy.
Oh yeah, no, he deserves it. Fucker.
Yeah, he used to not be so willful with the violent killing, but yeah.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
She kind of snorts and she goes, and people say, yes, vampires are bloodthirsty. That bastard became a monster even in the time I knew him.
Yep.
Okay. So... I was... How are people? How's the food going?
Food's going fine.
We, got anything else besides Hanzo's business?
I don't think so.
Nope. Nothing.
Alright. Well, Itzel, meet you at the preserve tomorrow then, I guess.
She gives a nod and she goes, I mean, yeah, I'll bring over my tools unless you got.
We got
And she
stuff
goes,
there, but you know, if they're your tools you're more familiar with, feel free.
then she's like, actually, I can't remember. I think her bike might actually be at the preserve still.
I think so.
It's hard keeping track of all these vehicles.
Yeah.
All right then.
You ready, Anzo?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm headed home after this, gang. So
Well,
y'all get home and make sure you get some rest.
I need to sleep for 3 more days.
Yeah, you do.
Sleep that entire time we were doing that.
Yeah, you
The fact you're
you should
coherent.
go sleep like as soon as you're done eating.
The fact you're coherent frightens me of how strong you are. 'Cause I at least passed out on my spell books a couple of times.
She just looks at you and goes, "Good."
Someone's frightened. Winifred is happy.
Tuesday is poker night, don't forget.
And it's like I might actually, if you don't mind, I might join you in on that. I haven't had a good card game in a while.
Sure, we're a bit of an odd crowd, but
I don't mind taking more people's money.
you wouldn't, would you?
No, I don't. It's hilarious.
This is out of character, but with it, so they can finally do card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles.
That's the joke that I'm missing.
Oh,
Anyway,
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, come along, Olivia.
Yep.
As the two of you walk out, Carlos will look to Hanzo and give him a nod and wave politely.
So, where's Hanzo going?
Well, he's first going to the detectives, since he wants to drop off Olivia sooner rather than later.
Okay. So, you're driving Olivia back to the preserve, is that it? Or her place?
They were going to a.
Oh, are you going with them to the detectives?
Yeah.
She wants to see Tex.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so do you get into Hanzo's car and, you know, it seems that for once it's blinking, waiting for you yet. But two of you head off. Rest of you, what are you doing?
As they head off, Carlos kind of, as the door closes behind him, Carlos like, so, I have a plan, but I didn't want Olivia to be aware of it. I'm probably gonna take a visit down to the good old preserve and ask a couple of questions. Because we have a were-thylacine tooth, and I don't know how the fuck you make a were creature out of an animal that's been extinct for several hundred years, or 50 years, or whatever it's been.
So your
Yeah,
plan
when
is
did they
to
officially
obey
go
Olivia's
extinct?
son.
they went extinct in 1932.
1932.
Somewhere
so,
in 19.
Yeah.
60 years.
So yeah, it'd be about like 50, 60 years. You don't just magically make a new were-thylacine out of an extinct population.
Maybe they're just really big fans of the Howling series.
Has that had multiple movies at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the 80s.
I mean, I would like to know if Olivia's work's making mutant thylacine weremen. But, like, Olivia doesn't know. And I don't think Olivia would be particularly fond of us poking around. So that's my plan for Monday morning. While she's out working out the preserve, I'm gonna, like, go in and talk to some people and be a good
All right.
business to put on.
I'm in.
Awesome, Fred. Thank you. That's the end of my milkshake.
Slurp. Milkshake! So people left behind, it's Tommy, Winifred, and Fred. Carlos.
All right. I took a bunch of damage. I am going to take a nap.
Oh yeah.
I'm going home.
Okay, have fun.
And Tommy slides out the door, going back to his sewer.
Oh no.
It's just okay. Have fun.
It's not quite a sewer, it's a drainage system. There's not live sewage.
True. But his sewer is funnier to say.
Oh, I know it is. And it's so much more
Someone's gonna
succinct than
adopt you,
saying
Tommy.
his drain.
Someone is going to adopt you, Tommy.
I mean, his license has the diner as his residence.
Mm-hmm.
You can live
That way,
down
if the
there.
cops... Yeah, that way if the cops come looking, they go to Carlos, and Tommy can make a breakaway.
It's like, oh,
Honestly,
Carlos
valid.
knows how to talk around cops. He'll be fine.
Yes, throw Tommy under the bus, as some person's been sending their damn mail here. I'm getting upset of why the cops haven't done anything about it. But yeah, so I'm gonna go check that out. You know, not tonight, because like, it feels like somebody drove a semi-truck into my ribs. But that is a plan. And then Tuesday night is poker night.
So, what are Hanzo and Olivia chatting about on the way down to the precinct?
Hanzo, for his part, is saying nothing. He's just enjoying the tunes and the quiet.
Yeah, Olivia's actually enjoying the quiet for a while too. I'm like, at one point, she looks over to Hanzo, grins. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Which part?
The suplex of a fucking Hellcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, pretty ballsy.
She makes a face.
Burbage.
Yeah. What? What, TT?
Nothing. Sorry. Talking out loud. Ignore me!
Hey!
No.
All right,
We're
Grand
not
Inquisitor.
No.
poker friends. We can't.
All right, Grand Inquisitor. We will ignore you.
Ignore me! Someone has left a baby here.
And,
I got the ray gun.
God damn. And I think bringing a kid back from the dead, pretty fucking cool too, huh?
Yeah. Not that I don't regret it, but certainly going to make the rest of his life very complicated.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I just realized, even though I'm the keeper of this game, I just realized only now when Olivia said we just brought that kid back to life that I realized, this is really an escalation for those people who only just started to accept the, existence of of magic in reality, to be like, we just helped take part in a resurrection ritual by accident. What? So I'm sorry. It just struck me that that was kind of an escalation. That
yeah, it was.
Yeah, there was no toe tipping about it. Carlos had been hiding it for the first 2 arcs, and the third one we just went, all right, Supernatural's real. Deal with it.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'll fully admit, that was the plan. Like I said before, these first 3 arcs were to be superorganism specific, like endofauna mystery. Second one, mad science gone awry mystery. This one, mystical shit.
Mm-hmm.
We got shit.
Your major food groups.
Yeah.
Hanzo, for his part, he's just the kind of person of, yeah, that might as well exist.
Yeah, no, it was like, Hanzo?
Mm-hmm.
Did you, believe in this shit or ever see any weird shit like this before now?
Well, I'm the kind of person who knows that I don't know shit about the universe. I choose to believe that our ancestors were not stupid and may have known a thing or two, even if it's not the technical truth or whatever. And it's good to keep an open mind.
Yeah, fair. I can't say I really gave it much stock before fucking Carlos started throwing fireballs, but I can't really deny it now.
Well, don't you have those birds on the preserve that just bury their heads in the sand?
Ostriches?
Yeah.
You're probably driving by an ostrich farm at a point sometime during this trip.
She just looks at you as the ostrich farm passes behind her.
That's something I need to bring up more often. There are a significant number of ostrich farms on Redemption.
My point being, people can see the truth right in front of their faces and just not want to accept it, so...
Tell me about it. Fucking... God, my parents were great, but fucking... Someone with family?
Very coincidentally and very in character, I'm munching on mochi right now. So, yeah. Answer your question?
Yeah.
Man, I'm tired.
You really should get some sleep.
I will.
I'll kidnap you after we see the detective. Then you have the reason why you didn't go to your boss right away.
No.
What are they gonna do?
much better to get it out of the way.
Yeah. I guess.
Yep.
So
Still hate me.
it wouldn't take too long for you to.
No.
Well,
You've
well, that'll make working together easier then.
Yeah. You've shown your colors by this point. I know you've got obligations and shit, but I think you've
Don't we
shown
all?
where you're. Yeah, but some obligations could be more nefarious than others.
Yep. As you were saying, Sarah.
I was just saying it wouldn't take too long to get to the precinct, so. That was basically it.
Okay, we're there.
So, yeah, you pull in and you go in, and it's not like super busy. It's just a typical lobby. You go up, the secretary, or it's like not really a secretary. It's an officer, and when you walk up, they were just finishing up talking to another officer who sees that you're walking up, and they finish up the conversation. They go walking off to do whatever. As they go, yes, can I help you?
I'm here to see Detective Bentley.
And you are
Hanzo.
And he goes, all right. And he takes a moment, rings off. He goes, yeah, Detective Bentley, Hanzo's here. All right, yeah. All right. Hangs up and goes, all right, he's on his way out to come meet with you. And
You good to be by yourself, Hansa, or you alright to be by yourself? I mean, I know the detective.
So sorry. What's the question? I keep mishearing it.
Are you alright to be by yourself? I mean, like, I know that it's detective. We've worked in passing before.
Like, yeah, I'm fine.
I guess that's like quietly. She's like, I guess this isn't the one you're really afraid of, huh?
No, not really.
I'd like to talk to an inmate, I guess.
then look up and goes, oh, excuse me. That wasn't meant to come through.
It's okay. It didn't.
Sorry, I burped. But they go, shit, I don't know what the actual protocol would be. So
Neither do I.
Yeah, are your prisoners allowed visits? I guess.
Yeah, from a friend, I guess.
And they kind of frown and they go, they're an inmate, gonna have to see if they have, visitation rights.
Text.
And the like, who?
Text.
X. They
One of the bikers who got picked up.
They start looking at the big blocky early 90s computer screen.
Yeah.
And I guess it'd be more like, because it's probably a little bit outdated, it's probably more like late 80s computer monitor. So they're looking at it and they go, oh well, they just are a recent arrival. They're still being processed. It's going to be a while yet before they have before they can have visitors. And they're like, they kind of mumble under their breath and go, oh yeah, and booked on accessory to murder, manslaughter charges. Yeah, I'm sorry, this guy's gonna be a while yet until you're able to talk to him.
Okay.
And they kind of shrug and goes, they don't really seem apologetic about that, but
yeah, come on, you know me. Everybody knows me.
and they kind of get this skeptical look, but they don't say anything. And it's about that time that Hanzo, you recognize Bentley walks out from one of the side, goes, "Ah, Agent Hanzo," and Olivia, yes.
Yeah, we
He
were
like takes
saw
a
each
second
other with
over.
the chupacabra attacks.
Right, yes. You're one of the animal control people from the preserve.
Yeah, that is me.
And he kind of looks to you, Hanzo, and he goes, "So we've got them. We've got them." He kind of glances at you, Olivia, and he goes, "Right, why are you here? Not to be rude. It's just I
Well,
was expecting to speak with
I
Agent
am
Hanzo."
an associate of Hanzo, so we came here together. I was attempting to talk to one of the bikers you picked up recently, Tex. But you know,
Why?
he's still being what?
This is my case.
Oh well, I know him kind of. We aren't like friends or anything, but we were acquaintances, and I. It's a long story, but I told him I'd help him get back on his feet.
Wait, are you the one that he said he was hiding out with?
Yeah, but the other bikers were trying to get him killed.
And that kind of lines up with what he was. I shouldn't be saying this. Uh, and he kind of like glances around, hoping none of the other officers notice. But he kind of stepped off to the side because he like stepped out of a side door into the lobby, but the lobby's pretty much empty. But
Yeah.
he goes, Why do you need to talk to him?"
That's exactly why I wanted to just let him know that I meant what I said, and you know, if and when he gets out, I'll help him get back on his
Well,
feet. He, you know,
that's admirable, although going by his police record, you may rethink that charity, but I'm not going to try to dissuade you from it. People need to help all they can get, I suppose, but I can't let you speak to him now. Maybe in a few days, I might be able to, get you visitation, get a visitor's.
yeah, I gotcha,
But
I I understand. I didn't think that through. It's on me, but you know, Hanzo was coming this way, and we are work. What are we now, Hanzo?
Husband and wife.
No.
Jesus.
Hanzo just slowly blinks.
And the detective goes, I mean, it's not exactly intense police or detective work to guess that you two started working because you work for Pluripotent. Was dealing with the chupacabras and guessing that was tied.
I mean, yeah.
He kind of nods and goes, I mean, makes sense. And then I saw you two while dealing with the heart snatching case.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, Hanzo, that's partially what I was wanting to speak with you about, kind of
Yeah, well,
respectfully, privately.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you can, yeah, I got you. You don't want me around. That's fair. Well, you know,
I
Hanzo.
mean that in the most polite and
Yeah,
professional
no.
way, but yes.
Yes, no, you're fine. You're fine, officer. I get it.
And goes, and he kind of looks back and he goes, at kind of at the officer who's at the desk, who's not even paying attention. They're just like doing paperwork, it looks like. And he goes, although perhaps best if we take a step outside. I need to stretch my legs, anyways.
I guess we're going the same way for at least a second.
Yes, it would. So it would seem. And so he walks out with the two of you, and he kind of steps off to the side, probably into the. Actually, yeah, he goes. Actually, I have my car. If you follow me, and he goes, "Miss Olivia," and kind of gives a nod as he walks off towards his car.
She gives him a nod as well.
And Hanzo, when you follow him to this, it's the car you've seen him drive. It's not the most impressive. It's definitely not as new of a car as yours, but you get you have the corporate car. He gets the you know the county budget car.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in and he pulls out what looks to be a folder from a briefcase that's in there. A beaten up old one, it looks like. But so I was looking up about this you know the thing that kicked all this off, and he kind of opens up the folder, and there's like it's just a jumble of papers. There's some newspaper clippings, it looks like, and some photos. Like, and he like lifts up a Polaroid. It looks actually labeled like a crime scene photo, and it's a collection of what you recognize as empty epiphany vials. And when he hands it over to you, you actually see that the date is actually uh, June 1979 as the crime, identifier.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, Tiffany's had quite a history in this valley.
Well, best place to produce it.
The only place you can produce it. I was looking into it, see if maybe I could gain some leads on the case, but because I, didn't really have to put that much effort into it because you miraculously solved it before I could even get clues into it. But that wouldn't have even mattered because as soon as I started making official inquests into past cases with Epiphany, trying to see if there was any maybe previous, drug rings, suppliers, what have you, I got shut down almost immediately. My superior officer, and he kind of lowers his voice, looking around to make sure there's no one really close listening, goes, he shut me down hard. Like, it felt like he was moments away from threatening me with suspension, saying that I just needed to focus on recovering the drugs and the perpetrators of the crime. He says not investigate the drug itself because that's not my assignment. And I'm already walking on thin ice in a desert after what happened with Dr. Apostu. Because I didn't let her be taken in by the feds, believing her. And, the feds, they don't have her in custody. She's just gone. So, of course, I think she's in with Plurpone, but my superiors say, don't worry about it. My case is done. My hands on it are washed. I can't, involve myself with this anymore. It's a closed case as far as my superiors is concerned.
Doesn't surprise me too much. This whole
and I know and he kind of gives you the serious look, and he goes, I know I'm severely risking myself by talking to you, agent of Pluripotent, about suspected extrajudicial operations by a corporate entity.
No, I understand. It's not really a surprise. I mean, the whole town basically is in Pluripotent's pocket, but don't worry, I too am on thin ice, it sounds like, after deciding to hand over the good Dr. Micah over to your custody.
Yeah, and he's already out of my hands too. He's being transferred to the FBI down in Phoenix tonight. but actually, they probably already left. But yeah, that I'm just not. My clearance isn't high enough to be too involved with these cases. It seems beyond doing the legwork for him. But and he kind of hands the folder over to you with the Epiphany stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to share this with someone. This is concerning. And he starts he goes, I went down to the deep archive at the library, barely slept these last few days, and started looking at it today last night. And Epiphany has been linked to the mass suicide of a cult back in the late 70s here.
Ooh.
You'll love the name. Church of Cosmic Unification. Public records state that they were a cult formed around the belief that the superorganism was a divine creature and that it held the secrets to unifying human thought and emotions to lead to global peace and unity. And he kind of he goes, I know.
Yeah.
Sounds crackpot.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
But then in June of '79, and he taps some of the photos. The compound that the church lived out in a secluded section of the mountains to the north of here, completely silent when police back then arrived to serve a warrant for the search of illegal contraband and rumors of abductions. They were always on thin ice. Well, keep using that term, but they were always at odds with the authorities and things, always trying to skirt around inspections and never letting people in, and just being weirdos,
Mm-hmm.
But when they broke down the doors, and he kind of flips over to some of the what looks to be heavily redacted police reports that were given to the public, and he goes asking around some of the old timers and actually pulling in a few favors with the deep archive, found that when they went in, they found the entirety of the membership of the cult gathered inside their chapel, dead or in the process of dying. There were no survivors, but no reported survivors were taken from the compound. Official reports stated that the cult of 27 members had poisoned themselves, but the autopsy reports of several cult members were soon leaked to the media, and he flips to a newspaper report, like a newspaper article. But the whistleblower was never found. Autopsy stated that while no toxins of lethal levels were found within the bodies, they each possessed the damage and mutations associated with long-term excessive usage of the Epiphany drug developed by Pluripotent Industries. The signs that death was caused by sudden aneurysm, likely from a massive overdose of the drug. And from what I can gather of talking to some of the older detectives, most of them retired now. Guys that worked with my dad back then, it's like they were saying that it's like everything was covered up by pluripotent immediately. They all got swept off to other cases. People basically matching what your job description seems to be came in and started handling everything, cleaned the place out. I haven't been up to that place, and he kind of points to a map that's in the folder, and he points off to the mountains in the north. It's in the Chuparosa Mountains. And he goes, never been up there myself, but, supposedly the compound's still up there, but still locked up. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, go ahead."
Well, it is in the best interests of a company to protect its own image.
Yes, and this paired with the actual supposed reasons that Epiphany was banned, that whole fiasco with the senator's son, being mutated. that paired with this was just a tipping point, apparently, for getting it fully banned. Actually, they even believe, like, I actually talked to some of the older detectives. Or one of them says that the whole senator's son, that was just the smokescreen to cover up for this suicide. And similar incidences, he said he would get back to me, but he's an old guy, not much hope in that. It's honestly surprising I got so much out of him with this. This case has been gnawing at him too for years.
Seems I have a lot of homework.
Now, here's the thing. From what he says as well, I might have to introduce you to him sometime. He says the leaders, from what I tell, because he was one of the first responders on the scene, one of the people who broke down the doors. He says he believes they never found the bodies of basically the cult leaders weren't there. Says there was like 3 or 4 of them that were known to the public and known leaders of the cult, but they weren't among the 27.
Well, of course, they would be too afraid to drink their own Kool-Aid.
The odd thing, and he kind of pauses and he goes, something that's not in the reports this old detective told me. He said that, being one of the first people into the chapel with the dead and dying, he said it smelled like ozone, like burning ozone. There was no electrical fire or anything. And he kind of shrugs.
Well, I have seen things that defy any rational explanation, which is part of the reason why I've wanted to talk to you privately. So I hope you understand the reason why I handed over the doctor over to your custody instead of Pluripotent first.
Oh.
Well, these last few weeks we've had to work much more closely together in the best interests of this town. And I know you have reason to distrust me as a agent of Pluripotent. I've never took it personally. But if we're going to continue to work together, I thought it would be best if we built a foundation of trust.
And I see where you're coming from, and I appreciate it. And I suppose he kind of takes the folder back from me. He goes, I suppose this is my attempt at extending that same courtesy.
Thank you.
I don't know, from what Dr. Porter said, I truly believe that Pluripotent itself wasn't involved with him going AWOL and trying to make it himself, but someone or some group is supplying him with he said so as much that he was being supplied the materials from elsewhere.
Yes, and I hope to eventually find out what that is. But when we work together, it's things tend to go more smoothly. I generally want what's best for this town while also doing my job. And I understand that my superiors are not pleased with my unilateral decision to not bring him first to Pluripotent for debriefing.
Yes, I was going to question and ask you about that. Considering what happened with Dr. Apostu and how she seems to have officially disappeared into the system, as it were, I would not be surprised if Dr. Porter ended with a similar fate had you brought him in.
Yes. I will face the consequences of my choice, but I still believe building bridges with you and the local law enforcement is worthwhile to preventing further travesty.
I mean, if it will keep the spread of what seems to be, after talking to the coroner, bone bullet guns, I think we definitely need to work to curb this before it becomes a problem.
Yes. Thank you for this information.
Of course. And he goes, actually, you hold on to it. If my boss finds me with this, that's a good way for me to pack up my desk. So probably best if you take it for now.
Most wise. I'd rather keep you on the team. You're reasonable.
There's like a dry laugh, and he goes, about the same assessment I was going to use for you.
He extends a hand.
And he gives a firm shake. Professionals, we have reached a compromise.
Yes. Sometimes
well, he doesn't say that. No, that was me
then
joking,
Then I will say it. It's like sometimes the best we can hope for as professionals of different fields is a compromise.
I didn't say it better myself. And he'll give a nod and then kind of look back and goes, okay. I think your friend is getting a little antsy, so
before I go,
I need to go back to questioning the bikers. But yes.
As part of the extending trust to better work with you, there are, of course, details about these last few cases that I have not divulged with you, and I may not immediately tell you just yet, but I first have a question. My friend, since you brought her up, actually reminded me of it. Do you believe that there's a lot more going on with the world than what is commonly accepted and known? Case in point, for the longest time, vampires were the subject of fiction and myth. Yet now they are an accepted part of society.
And he kind of looks thoughtful for a bit. He goes, my dad was what you would call a career policeman. It's what he always wanted to be. He was kind of idyllic in that,
Protective.
Like him, yes, he took that to heart. And while I tried to do that and he tried to do that, there are still things that come with the job, but oh shit, I forgot where I was going with this shit.
The world is a complicated place.
Yes, he goes
cleanly.
He goes, and living in redemption and dealing with situations like these, you quickly learn that yes, or even like with the arrival of vampires into the public eye, yeah, there are things about this world we may never know. No one person may know everything, but like my dad said, the world may be a mystery, but there's a thing you can always count on is people to be people, good and bad. So.
And do you also happen to believe that, to use vampires again, that the stories and legends of our ancestors may hold a grain of truth?
that whole little saying was kind of his way of saying it's not our job really to speculate until it happens. Just to deal with what we know to be truth. And then when the new truths come to light, then we examine them. I don't know. Sometimes he got a little into it. And he kind of laughs and goes, I'm not trying to like, I get what you're saying, Agent Hanzo.
Thank you.
Things are much
what
different than we expect.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is in the last few weeks, I've seen things that have forced me to reevaluate the world. Perhaps in time I will share what those exact things are, but it's good to know that you keep an open mind. Strange things have been happening in this valley, and I feel like it's only going to get stranger from here on.
He kind of gives a nod as he looks up to where the moon's rising nearly full. Yes. Well, it's definitely not a boring place to live, I guess.
Definitely not. Feels like every other week there's a new monster.
You fucker.
God damn it.
That's the title of the show.
Okay, I think that's like the commercial cut to, and then come back to something else. Because that was perfect, you little fucker.
You fell right into my trap.
You fucker.
Like, that was both Bentley and myself going, wait, this is supposed to be a serious moment. Don't be a jokester. And then you just brought it right back around for the punchline.
The punchline hit you in the face.
Yep. So, we'll say that and he goes, yeah, of course, Major Hanzo. And he goes, honestly, I'll probably be calling up on you for an official report concerning this case, but right now I gotta get back and continue interrogating the rest.
Yes.
And he kind of sighs and he goes, Texas has been fairly cooperative. Ginger's been stubborn, but that bastard Felix is a whole nother level.
So I've heard. Well, you have your duties to attend to, and I have mine. It's time for me to go face the music.
Good luck. You have my appreciation. My gratitude, I guess, would be a better word. I say as the DM.
Be seeing you, detective.
And he'll head back inside. And he'll pass by you, Olivia, to go, Miss Olivia, have a good night. As he heads back inside.
Everything
Yeah,
alright?
you too.
You alright, Hanzo?
Yes.
Good. Pat him on the back. Remember what I said.
We shall see. Where do you want to be dropped off first?
I
don't have my card right now, so just I was like, probably just walk home from here. It's not that late.
You sure?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Buses would be running at, it's shortly after sunset on a weekday, so they'd still be. It's not. Yeah, buses would be running this late, so it's not too late yet.
Yeah. Transport.
Although it is. Yeah. Actually, yeah, there would be all-night transport for vampires. So yeah, good idea. Thank you, Tom.
True.
There probably are vampire bus drivers.
There might be a young woman out late at night, but I also suplexed Kasha today, so I'm not really worried about it.
Actually, thinking about it, vampire drivers would probably be a benefit for driving at night because they've got the superior night vision.
And the biological inclination to stay up that late.
Yeah,
Not gonna
and yeah, huh?
Now all I can imagine is 2 truck drivers, 1 vampire, 1 human, and they alternate shifts.
Do you realize the phrase you shouldn't have said there and what?
2 vampires, 1 truck.
Yes. I was
Yeah,
alluding
it immediately.
to I was alluding to homosexual truck drivers.
Well,
vamps,
not gonna get.
truck. 2 vamps, fucking trucks.
Not the trucks.
My muscles involuntarily suck.
Anyways,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I'm not particularly worried for your safety, but I do respect your time.
Yeah, but I mean, a nice quiet walk home. Then get working on repair stuff tomorrow. Honestly, just what I need. I need to recharge my batteries.
Very well.
You know, I'm not the kind to just like sleep stuff. I need sleep clearly, but like I like to
understand.
unwind by doing stuff.
I understand.
Well, you better fucking see you tomorrow or the day after. You got that?
Gives a little nod before gearing up the car.
All right. She stretches a little, works out like a kink in her arm. That spray on shit's fucking fantastic.
the sci-fi Mad Pack gel is amazing.
What?
The sci-fi Mad Pack gel is amazing.
Yeah.
Every scientific discovery that comes out of pluripotent makes me wonder if we're pluripotent, the sister company of Black Mesa.
It's Black Mesa's bio division.
Well, you know, pluripotent works on the wetware.
Yep.
The gel makes me think of Mass Effect.
Personal Space Invader.
Makes me think of Halo. And that bio like foam stuff they have. It doesn't actually heal your wounds, but like puts foam into the wounds to hold them in place.
Yeah. I remember ODST.
I got that. I read that in the books.
I just remember that one guy getting fucking mauled by a brute, and they had to spray his wounds.
Yes. Anyway, I go home.
Okay, so we'll switch to. Anyone have anything specific they want to do? As Tanzu is, people are free to do whatever. Winifred, you basically just woke up from a super power nap. Fred you're a night shift guy, so you got the internal clock. You're good to go, probably.
Yep.
Why are you all night owls?
I mean,
And then
Winifred is like running on 3 hours of sleep after 4 days of being awake straight.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Actually, we'll switch to Tommy.
Tommy? Okay.
Yeah, you were going back home.
Yeah. Fucking tired.
Comfortable whole goodbye.
Yeah. It's my
you
home.
Go.
It was made for me.
Literally, you dug it out
that's
like
what
a
you
fucking
thought.
gopher.
That's what you thought, except as you go to where you've set up your little home and on your platform above where the water line would be, because it seems that you weren't the first person who's lived in this little area, and you get there and someone or something has been through your snack stash. There's torn open bags. You see a lot of your, like, all your jerky bags are ripped open. Your candy's been chewed on. It just looks like, from the looks of it, it looks, well, you know what? Here, read a bad situation.
1 second, guys.
Actually, no. Investigate a mystery. That would be the one. It's still the same skill, but 2d6 plus sharp.
Okay. I got a 4.
Okay.
At least it
On
wasn't
a
a
miss, you
grenade
reveal
again.
some information to the monster, whoever you're talking to. I mean, you. How do you? Okay, so how do you react to what looks to be, as I was going to say, it looks, because this is probably not the first time, since you've been you're a vagabond, so you've been out in, the streets. So this is not the first time it looks like, shit, the raccoons found me again.
What the hell has gone through my shit?
Yeah, you start looking through it, and there you find what looks to be like a footprint in what looks maybe like chocolate, and it's like, yeah, that kind of looks like a raccoon hand paw, like a paw print, and it's just like, oh fuck, do they have raccoons in Arizona?
Yeah, do they?
I mean, so fun fact, I didn't know we had. This is kind of sad, but I didn't know that there were raccoons in Phoenix until I saw a roadkill of one by a freeway.
Aw.
But then, literally a week later, I was dropping my friend off at his place at night, and we're talking as I'm in the car, but he's like standing out and saying goodbye, and he just like turns around and he's like, dude, look. And we look over, and going head first, climbing down the palm tree in his front yard, there's just a fat ass raccoon climbing down, stops, sees us staring at us, staring at him, and then he just keeps walking like head first, like trying not to fall as he's just sliding down the palm tree. And we're just like, and my friend's like, "Did you know there's raccoons here?" And I go, "No." And we're both like, we both grew up here in Phoenix, and we're just both like, "What the fuck?"
Arizona is one of the few states to have both raccoons and coatimundis, depending on where you are.
Yes. Oh, that's actually one thing I really like. I had to get my ID updated for the trip, and our IDs now for Arizona have the coatimundi on it
Nice.
because that's our state mammal.
My uncle got bit by a coatimundi.
Yeah, they're like that.
The coatimundi's name was Stewart. He was worried he got rabies from Stewart, but he didn't, and it was all fine.
Yeah, that's good. But so Tommy, it looks like either a raccoon or a coatimundi or something has been ripping through your snacks. They're just
Fuck, I gotta go shopping again. Fucking varmints. He's grumbling as he pulls out the plastic bag and just starts sweeping the trash into it. Can't have shit in Arizona. Fucking hell.
And as you're doing that, you start picking up wrappers and stuff. You actually hear what sounds like kind of a familiar sound. You heard it once before as what sounds like nails on concrete, or like small, like animal nails on concrete. As you look in and you see once again those, like the eye shine of something further in, and or you think it might be raccoonish sized.
Yeah, Tommy's gonna go for it. He has his flashlight out, like, hey, you!
And once the flashlight turns on, and you see this just glimpse of something dark dashing into the sewer, or the piping, the tunnels basically, and you go chasing after it. See.
Well, I'll either find out what it is or enter the Mushroom Kingdom.
It's not Yoshi. So I guess it would be act under pressure. because you are trying to do something specific, right?
Yeah, I guess just keep up with it.
I just know that Tommy hasn't had good luck with that specific skill this entire arc.
You wanna know why I don't have good luck with it?
Well, your cool is like a -2, right?
-1. And speaking
-1,
of two,
okay.
that's what I got.
So it's not. You go chasing after this, and there hasn't been any rain or anything recently. Since you got to town, but you go dashing in, and there is usually some like moisture down in the drains because people do like there's runoff from like um, maybe like a nearby car wash or something that washes down. So there is some like slick mud and sand, and as you go try to turn around a junction corner where more of these tunnels combine, you go slipping on some very dry or this wet sand as you kind of land on your butt and just kind of flat on your back, and it's just like you get the wind knocked out of you.
Oof. Yeah, and the sound that comes out of Tommy is
and then Tommy, you as you start sucking in air after it was knocked out of you, you get it knocked right back out of you as something lands right on your gut, as something not too big, but still a decent weight jumps and lands, and you just see this flash of these dark striped scales as something basically uses you as a bounce pad and goes dashing off as you see momentarily what looks to be one of your king size candy bars, the half open in this thing's mouth as it goes running off, and you barely get a chance of seeing this thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're
yeah, Tommy's going to try and get back up and just follow where it went.
okay. So thankfully, it went down a tunnel that there aren't really branching offs. So you start following it for a while, and you can actually hear up ahead that same skittering. Like there's a few times where you think it might have lost it, but you realize. And as you're going, you do have your flashlight, but you do see in some of the the sand and mud that has been washed down here over time. You do see what looks to be like uh a few like footprints, and then you realize, oh, those aren't. Do another investigate real quick, just for fun.
Yeah, 1 second. Change some things back. Roll. I got an 11.
Oh, nice. On a 10 plus, what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What is it going to do? Blah blah blah. What is being concealed here? And or you can ask like specific questions, but I will give this one for you. You realize that the footprints, and you realize that just because they were smudged chocolate, so it was hard to really see what they were back at your camp. But here in this mud and sand, you do see what looks to be like three-toed, actually several toed like footprints that don't match what looks to be like because like you've seen raccoon tracks. These are definitely not like these look more reptilian, but danger.
Fucking roadrunners, not again.
It kind of almost looks like a bird's tracks, but a few too many toes.
Okay. So,
and you do see, you're on the right path because you do see what looks to be a like a torn wrapper.
Mm-hmm. So, the timing is just impeccable. 1 moment, please hold.
That's fine. You doing okay there, Gray?
if this is what I think it is, I am going to come to Arizona and voice my words.
I mean,
for what it's worth.
Could not have timed that better, I swear. Anyway,
I'm familiar with the timing of karmic timing. Well, not karmic, Murphy timing.
so which way did it go, George? Which way did it go?
Well, with that, you've got a with that. Yeah, you'll use that as one of your holds. So you got a pretty good trail on this thing because as it gets deeper, there is a little more sediment that's been washed down here. So it's easier to keep track and seeing that. You start seeing that with that good of a roll. And, it's been a while since you've had to do like hunting tracking, but it's rather easy because you know which direction it's gone being in a tunnel. So, but realizing that there actually are what looks to be like older tracks that maybe whatever this thing is, this is maybe its territory because you're pretty sure you saw this thing scoping you out before, and it just took the opportunity with you being gone for a couple of days, most of the time for the last couple of days, took this opportunity to raid the stash.
Fucking
You might need to
bikers
get
getting-
It's like, yeah, you might want to get a locker or something, mini fridge.
Get a fucking bear cooler, bear trash can.
And so you go following this thing, and the air is getting more humid. There's actually a few puddles that you stomp through or leap over, but
He leaps over with the grace of a scrambling raccoon.
Yeah, and it's honestly a good thing you're kind of short because these aren't very tall tunnels, so you don't have to really stoop all that much. But chasing it down, you're glad that there's no water or rain going on because this would be. I'm just saying this for everyone at home. This is very dangerous. Do not go into these things because flash floods are a thing and they will kill you. But go and you find another piece of wrapper, but then you start passing by these other what looks like junctions, other pipes joining in, and it takes you a moment to realize, you've been going for a while. You're not sure exactly where under the city you are, but then there's this moment where it's still very dark. It's just dark. It's just your flashlight that you have. Is all of a sudden the tunnel opens up, and you're just suddenly for a moment you think you're in a vast cavern. It just opens up. There's the ceiling's tall, and you think it's like, are those stalagmites and stalactites? But then you realize, no, this is still cement. It's not stone, and those are pillars holding up the, going from ceiling to floor as they go off in rows. It's almost kind of like that scene in the Lord of the Rings with the Moria scene where you just see all the pillars. Not as grand as that, but yeah, it's just row after row of pillars, and you realize you're in a very large cistern, a water cistern where the floodwaters would come and be contained so they could drain out without flooding the city. But the weird thing is, you start looking around. There's you think at first it's like plants that have been washed down with the waters. And then you realize, oh, no, there's some like creeping vines growing on some of the pillars, going like up, crawling up along them. And then as you get closer, you realize that's weird. Plants shouldn't be growing down here. And then you realize, oh, that looks kind of familiar. That looks, I'll say, with your, yeah, it's kind of like that, just not as big. Maybe like half the height. But you, when you start seeing this thing, and you realize that, wait, these vines, you've seen these before. You actually saw these when you went down into the superorganism.
They're breaking out.
You start looking around, and you start looking around, and then you start recognizing some of these plants. You start going in deeper. It's weird. It's almost like you're walking into an underground swamp. There's like this like brownish reddish moss that's creeping across the ground. There's these brownish red vines creeping up the the pillars, and it's just, for a moment, it feels like you're in like almost like a exhibit for the superorganism, because it's clearly artificial still, but there's this plant life you've only seen growing down there, and like there's this trickle of water, and where all these, because it kind of, there's a slope because it's like leading down. You guess this big structure is almost like bowl shaped, just the way everything slopes down towards this point you can't see in the darkness. But there's like buildup of sediment, there's mud, like I said, there's sand, and then all this like weird moss that's creeping across, and there's a few rivulets of water you see here and there. And actually, as the light passes by it, you see bloom red petals of the Aster sanguinis, the blood flowers that you've seen blossom in the desert and within the superorganism itself. And then, as you are just looking at this place, you look over, and then there, standing by a pillar, tearing into this giant candy bar, so the light hits it, it looks up, and big old eyes shine, and these giant eyes staring at you, chocolate smearing its almost beak-like face. You see the dark, striped, scaled form of what looks to be a monitor lizard almost, with a bipedal stance, larger back legs, front legs tucked up, and you, for a moment, it looks like a raptor, but then you realize, no, that head is definitely a monitor lizard. So is that tail, and it just stares at you before dashing into the darkness again.
Yeah, Tommy's just going to grab a ball of mud and just toss it after. Keep out my shit!
And Shady, if you want to post the art for that.
I don't have it on hand. This is a different computer.
What? I'm so confused.
Hold on, it should be in our... Hold on, let me check our logs.
Yeah.
Here it is. Oh, found it.
Good. Excellent.
Aww.
That's a scruggly man.
That's a scruggly man.
Aww.
Bitch ate my food.
It's a scruggly man.
But he's not an innocent man.
We're just normal men. We're just innocent men.
So, Tommy, what do you want to do? This thing has dashed off into the darkness. You're not sure if you'll be able to catch it because this thing is very fast and now has a much wider area to hide in.
Yeah, Tommy's just gonna cut his losses, hope that, or figure that, okay, balled it back. Nope. Threw something at it. Hopefully it knows not to come back, and he just goes on back.
Okay. So, I'll say you can use your other hold for that investigative mystery to retrace your path back, because
Yes, please.
I don't think you want to end with Tommy being the Minotaur in the drainage system under redemption.
He's not tall enough for that. He's a manlet.
the Minotaur. So, okay, so who wants to go next?
Still walking.
So, Carlos, what were we doing? Fucking up some shit?
Well, I was gonna go to the preserve in the morning because as much fun as it would be to trespass on a private organization that has been helping us in the middle of the night in a non-emergency capacity, it would be a lot easier for us to just go do that the next day. Also, you look like you could use a month of naps.
Yeah.
Aw.
Unless you want to go hit up the arcade, I could go kill a few hours at the arcade.
No, I really prefer doing that kind of thing with my kids.
Fred did not adopt Carlos that day.
Carlos is a grown man. I would hope not.
He can still be adopted.
I mean, that's fair, man. I was just gonna go play. I was just gonna go hit up, maybe play some pinball or something. It's like the one thing I can't like argue to go in the diner or the attraction. Maybe the gift shop of the. Do you think they have a super organism pinball machine? I mean, they got pinball machines for like everything.
Yeah,
actually, with the craze, with the craze, there would have been. There's definitely a Chewy the Chupacabra and the super organism pinball machine.
I'll see if I can track one of those down. Carlos has earned a new side quest.
You know, there probably is totally one at the museum or the Pluripotent Museum, or the Superorganism Museum specifically.
But I can't go steal that one to put in my roadside attraction.
Not with that attitude, you can't.
I am literally talking.
You do know the night security guard.
I am literally talking with the night security guard. I can't be like, "Hey Fred, can I go steal the pinball machine and put it in my attraction?" No, that'd be rude.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. I'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Conzo.
That's not allowed. It's not allowed to do that. We can just buy a pinball machine. How expensive are they? Like $50?
I wish. I wish.
I mean, you got robot dinosaurs and shit. I figure a pinball machine can't be that hard.
To be fair, half of the robot dinosaurs were there when I got there. And I pretty much told Hugo I was taking over, and he just kind of nodded.
Get you, trust fund baby, inheriting animatronic dinosaurs. I'm kidding, Carlos.
I'm sorry, Fred. That is just, I think, the first time anyone has ever in my life called me a trust fund baby.
And it'll be the last.
Hopefully. I lived out of a van for far too long to be a trust fund baby.
Also, from a brief Googling, the cost of a pinball machine seemed to be like $2,500 back in the 90s.
They were an investment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so I'll see you in the morning. You get some sleep, and we'll go.
Okay.
And we'll go check out the MOA and ask some questions.
I'm going to punch you. I'm going to punch you in your face.
And I'm gonna sleep in my futon.
Yes, and everyone's splitting up. I guess we'll check in with Hanzo going to Pluripotent because that's the last thing we need to do before the next day, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, we.
Okay.
And there's Hanzo. He's dead.
Yep.
DK.
Hanzo. So you pull into the parking lot, go inside, and go down to your boss's office in the depths of the the super corporate organism. So let's see, hold on. Going down there, you go to knock, and you're letting as he goes, looks up from. He always seems to be working at his computer or looking over paperwork. He's. You get the feeling, just even in like your more casual conversations, he seems to resent being a desk jockey now, but he's too good of a worker or subordinate to really voice that complaint. But he looks up and he goes, Hanzo, have a seat.
He does so.
So, I guess fill me in on how the case went.
Very well. And he fills them in.
Okay. So, I'm sure you leave out certain things like your vampire friend and Ranger can turn into animals, but let's say you give him the truncated version of it, but
Yep.
He goes, okay. So explain to me why you sent him directly to the authorities before we could have a chance to debrief him.
Very well, sir. I will not make I won't make any excuses, but I will provide my reasoning. I did not fully think through the consequences of delivering him onto the authorities before sending him first to Pluripotent. But the reason why I did it was because in these last few weeks I have been not necessarily forced, but cooperation with the local authorities has borne fruit. And I wanted to establish a bridge so that they cooperate with me in the future for future cases. I acknowledge my mistake. I will accept the consequences of it. But in the end, I believe this will help my performance in the future, and it's not a habit I intend to make.
Okay, I need you to roll for deal with the agency.
Yeah. Yeah.
A professional move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You deal with the agency, requesting help or gear, or making excuses for a failure. Roll plus sharp.
All right, sharp it is.
If only I was there. My sharp was so good.
A 9.
9.
Let's see.
Things aren't so great. You may get chewed
Yeah.
out and there will be fallout.
Uh-oh.
And he goes, and there's like, as you were explaining it, he had that professional stoicism that he usually held and, handled himself with. And he's nodding and he goes, but then he like sighs and he goes, I can see where you are coming from, Hanzo, and I understand that you will want to work, establish a. I understand wanting to establish a better rapport with the locals. It's part of what we have to do for the company, but there are certain things that we have to keep in the company itself, and that includes knowledge that individuals such as Dr. Porter has. And for your benefit, you did bring in Dr. Pastu, and we were able to debrief her and learn what she has passed on and moved on before we handed her over to the appropriate authorities ourselves. But I'm giving you a warning for now. I hope that is the last I will have to give you, but in terms of situations like this where it regards corporate security and superorganism security, or unsure of something, contact me first.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not saying you did a job. You've caught in record time the leak and his conspirators, brought to justice his conspirators with the biker gang. So, just continue to be aware of our position in this company. Dr. Porter is off to the FBI in Phoenix. I heard, and he looks over at his computer screen or the monitor, and he's like, actually, just a little bit ago, it's confirmed that he's on the transport down to Phoenix. So, fortunately, he is out of our hands for the time being.
I regret any fallout that may have fallen upon you as a consequence of my actions.
He kind of gives a nod and goes, I appreciate that, Hanzo. It's good for an agent to accept responsibility for their mistakes, but it's an even greater asset when an agent can learn and grow from those.
Yes. It was a hasty decision of mine. I do not intend to repeat it.
And he nods and he goes, I am understanding of it, Hanzo. This case, I was looking at looking into the details, and these Saburo kids, I understand why this hits home. I know where you come from and what you've done, and I understand. It's just we have to be professional.
Yes. I would like to state for the record that my connection to the case had nothing to do with my decision.
I'm sure it didn't. And you get the sense that he's being truthful when he says that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really. What you get from him, he's not really one for duplicity when it comes to like interacting with his, the people he works with, the people he has to trust.
Mm-hmm. Hanzo is aware that he's going through the motions, and so is he.
Because the thing is, I don't know if you've been hearing around the company, but Mr. Kieran, Mr. Fossick, he wishes to bring back some of the grandeur of past days for pluripotent and redemption, and he's made it very clear that complications will not be tolerated. So,
Understood.
I understand we all have our own pressure.
Yes.
But other than that, good work rounding them up and rescuing that boy's life. I'll contact you again when we need to speak again.
Before I leave, since
Yes.
the doctor was given over to federal custody before Pluripotent could debrief him, it is only right that I tell you as much as he told me.
Go ahead.
He was not working alone. He was working with someone was supplying him. The same person that supplied him with the experimental weapon. And apparently they are not of the company.
That is the most concerning thing of all.
Yes.
Who's passing out prototype weapons that we've locked away in our vaults, and who is capable of either smuggling away some of our shipments,
Or worse
or
yet, replicating it.
do they have their own access?
Yes.
We've kept. I mean, the vulture situation with the poachers. There's always, as you saw, there's always that dreaded chance that it decides to chew out an extension up and it breaches the surface. That's one of the worst. That's, doomsday, not doomsday, but that's like worst case scenario situations for us. We are extremely grateful that you and your friends were your. He doesn't say friends, and he pauses. He goes, "You and the associates managed to find and secure."
Yes.
Anyways, go rest up. It's been a long few days for you, I'm sure.
Yes, it has. Thank you, sir.
And he nods and very clearly turns his attention from you. He's just like, all right, go, as he just looks back to what he's doing. He's not really on the formalities kind of things.
Yeah.
So you get the vibe from him that you are not being written up just yet, but it's just like, you're on right at the moment. You gotta watch yourself.
You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out.
So, and we're at like 20 minutes from normal end time. People got hard time done end right.
Yeah. I've got a thing to do tomorrow, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I know people got jobs too.
Yeah.
So who wants the next day comes? Oh yeah, right. So the next day comes, Winifred, you and Itzel probably hang out because she was at the bar and or at the diner, and she'd probably just chat with you for a while. Vampire talk. You learn that much like many vampires, she works for Pluripotent because after the prison stint, she cannot really find much work as an actual mechanic like she's trained to be. But and so she works at a lot of warehouses with other vampires, doing shipping and stuff.
I'm gonna get her a fucking job.
But
I'm just gonna collect NPCs to work at the preserve.
it's like it's supposed to be a preserve of animals, not NPCs.
I can do both.
Yeah, it's like, Olivia, where do you expect us to find the money to pay all these people?
If you can't pay them, they won't stay.
Listen, with enough mutations, we could make them exhibits, and then they pay for themselves.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, we'll find out.
You're hired.
Yeah,
Fred gets a
just-
promotion at pluripotent.
Now step into the vat.
Oh
To be
God!
fair, I didn't put on Fred
become-
voice for that, so that's obviously a random passerby.
Yeah, aside
Oh,
from like
no.
excruciating body
God.
pain, even if they were mutated, is like, well, that means they get housing, they get fed, they get medical checkups.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Mutant
Yeah,
get free healthcare.
yeah, it's just
Better than McDonald's.
Yep. It's like,
Ah,
at least I don't have to
So
pay taxes.
body in pain. Better than McDonald's.
But.
God.
God.
You
So tomorrow comes around. Unless you wanted to speak with her, with Fred. Not trying to skip over people's interactions with people, but
Winifred's probably a little too out of it still to be a good conversationalist, but she will make, like, agreeing noises every time Itzel says something and
Yeah.
goes,
And
that's
she
fucked up,
gets
right?
it. And after a while, she gets it, and she's like, she's polite, and she won't like bother you too much. She's just like seems happier just to hang out with someone.
No,
But-
she's fine to hang out. She's just,
Yeah,
not entirely there.
Really conscious.
yeah. So but,
She's enjoying
so
the company.
eventually, after everyone had their dinner, the diner was opened up, and other vampire customers came in. The night shift came in. Sierra, the night waitress, was there. The weeknights at WB, but the that. Anyways, so Carlos, you're pretty early. You come in early. Tommy, would you be there? For a morning, for breakfast.
Probably not. Tommy's probably still sleeping in because he did
Okay.
get banged up quite a bit.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be like super early, I guess. Yeah, because everyone
Yeah,
would
then
be
sure.
sleeping in. Yeah, so Winifred, you're probably like maybe passed out in the shady booth corner or just hanging out there. But Carlos, you've been up for a bit, and
Yep.
I figure the diner has like that just for like plot reasons. There's a TV that maybe has the news station going.
Yep.
But as depending on who all shows up in the morning for breakfast.
I do not.
I do. Well, probably
Fred.
not like super early in the morning.
Yeah, no, this would be like mid morning. But yeah, I'm just trying to say, if people want to be here when this happens, you can. That Carlos, you're probably talking to Sandy, one of the other waitresses, the other waitress, as just talking business stuff. When all of a sudden, you hear the news kind of, it's like breaking news today, as 2 officers were discovered killed within their own vehicle, and it cuts. The camera cuts, or the cuts to show from a distance the cop car sitting at an intersection that some of you might recognize as just being like in town or like just out of town. He goes, just out of town this morning, a police car was found with both officers found shot by an unknown weapon as they were transporting a suspect at the recent mass killing of young residents of Redemption, as they were being transported to Phoenix for federal processing and sentencing. And currently, the suspect is at large.
Well, that's fucked up.
Hell.
Hanzo's gonna be busy again.
At least it's not a fucking fiery cat again.
No, it's just a murder
And-
suspect on large.
And
That's a
like it
person.
cuts back, and then the news anchor, she's like going into a few more details about who found it, some random driver saw this car just out there, and it goes, and she's like talking about it. And then actually she's like, oh wait, hold on a second, as you actually see a hand like a piece of paper off screen or off camera to her, and she goes, update on on current events. This just in, they found the body of the suspect. Initial reports say a Dr. Damian Porter of Pierpont was found savaged and mauled to death, not far from the scene.
Carlos is gonna
Where's
freeze at
Shayla
that.
Seed?
Carlos is gonna freeze at
Where's
that.
Shayla Seed?
Initial, and she goes, initial reports suggest animal attack, but we'll keep you updated as the story progresses. And the news continues on its cycle.
So I'd say Carlos doesn't have the Walkman out on his belt like he does when he's in the mid-adventure, because this is allegedly a denouement day. So he's going to whistle, not consciously, the opening tune to Bad Moon Rising. And he's just
Winifred throws a plate at you.
snapping out of the trance just enough to dodge the plate. And he goes, sorry, it happens.
I just imagine Olivia is at home, getting up for the day, and sees this on her TV, and then it's literally her reaction. Where's Shayla Seed?
But that feels like a good ending for it.
Yep.
Fuck.
Alrighty.
Mhm.
Give me a second.
I know that there were some other plans, but there will be technically a few days between and the start of the next arc.
Cool. Stop it recording.
All right.